Hello, tile friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Tile Money Podcast, where we empower tile contractors to build profitable, sustainable businesses. I am your host, Luke Miller, and today we've got a killer episode for you, especially if you're tired of juggling calls, forgetting follow-ups, or just feeling stuck in the same income month after month on the same level. I'm excited to be joined by Andy Morrison, my friend and the business founder of Business Up AI. Andy's been deep in the trenches helping contractors streamline their operations and close more deals. Not by working harder, but by working smarter and using tools to do so. In this episode, we're going to dive into how systems and automation can transform your business from managing leads and improving response times to freeing you up to actually grow instead of just grinding it out. If you've ever said, I just need more leads, or you're feeling overwhelmed by all the different tech and how to utilize it in your business, this episode's for you. Andy's going to break down exactly where most tile contractors are dropping the ball and what separates the contractor out there who's stuck at maybe 20, 30,000 a month from the one scaling 50, 60, 70 and beyond. Stick around and listen to this conversation. It can seriously change the way you run your business. I use Andy's Business Up AI systems in my business, and it has helped me tremendously, and I've seen what it's done for the tile friends in the Tile Money Mastermind and the growth suite that Andy has created. Let's bring Andy on now and talk to Andy. What's going on, brother?
Yo, Luke. Hey, man. Happy to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing well, How are you doing?
Fantastic, man.
Yes,
Fantastic.
nice. Well, let's get a little personal. I know you've been on the podcast before. We've talked a little bit. You're over there in West Virginia. We know a little bit about your backstory. What's something super exciting or out of the box that you did this year to push yourself?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I'm always trying to, push my own limits a little bit. So I did do something a little crazier this year. I decided to finally check something off my to-do list of life and jumped out of an airplane for the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time. So, yeah. Finally went skydiving. That's been on the list for
Nice.
a very long time. So,
Awesome,
yeah.
man. What was that like?
Exactly as you imagined. Absolutely terrifying, and it was amazing.
Would you
Yeah,
do it again?
yeah,
That's
I'd
cool.
say so. Since I
Yeah.
survived the first time, I might as well do it again.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
I bet that was exhilarating. Well,
yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
well, thanks for sharing, man. I appreciate the icebreaker there. It's always good to get to know people beyond business, a little bit on this podcast. But you've been helping me with my business a lot, and I want to thank you. And I'm just so excited about the tools that you've created for tile contractors. I've seen those of us who are in your contractor growth suite. I've seen them growing their business, and I've been meaning to get you back on this podcast to talk a little bit more specifics, on what you're doing to help contractors and maybe shed some more light on. It's, there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing for tile contractors. We're kind of a niche industry. Often I feel like we're ignored by some of the advanced technology that's out there for maybe bigger contractors doing larger scale projects. So it really does mean a lot to me that you're devoted to the tile contractor industry, the remodeling industry. You have a mix of tile contractors and remodelers, so I think that's also important to mention. But let's just dive into maybe a softball question. Why do you think systems are so important for contractors who want to grow their business?
Sure. Yeah. I think systems are really one of those defining things that a business adds to their overall processes to really be able to scale. If you want to be able to scale up your business, then you got to stop doing everything by hand. And the systems that are available now, technology and not just technological systems, but the processes you go through day to day. The more you can systemize your day to day processes and business, the more you're able to bring on a team to help handle those, and the more you can scale those processes up. So it's vital if you want to scale your business past
Yeah,
where you're at.
yeah, makes a lot of sense. I guess I would maybe compare that to, you know, installing tile. I try to weave that theme back into the podcast because it's something we all can relate to. We after years of working and installing tile, you create your own little systems that help you speed up the process and also come out with the same outcome. Every time, a good outcome. So systems and businesses are often ignored, especially by us smaller contractors because we're so we're focused on the product instead of the business. So I see the systems as being one of the more important things to scaling a business, like you mentioned. Um, you've been working with a handful of us now for a year or so. What are some common things that contractors are doing manually that can be automated today? That's kind of why we're here, right? Is so much technology at our fingertips. Often we don't understand what it can do for us. So
Mhm.
what can I stop doing manually that your systems are doing on
Sure.
automation? Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest and most obvious answers to that is the follow up. A lot of people, they might fill out your contact form on your website, or they might reach out once with a phone call. But if you don't get back to them right away, or if you don't consistently follow back up with them, then they're either going to go with another contractor or forget they ever even reached out to you.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of work in itself. Like if you're doing that manually, one, if you are pulling out your cell phone and saving every contact that reaches out to you, you're going to have a lot of just random contacts in your cell phone,
Mhm.
which that itself is an issue. So first, you want to get those phone numbers off of a personal cell and into a business system. So our systems do include a phone number that allow you to centralize all your business communication. But then, if you're trying to remember to follow up with people, how many people can tell you reach out in 2 weeks and you're going to remember every single person to reach out in 2 weeks? You got to write it in a calendar or set yourself a reminder or something. And then, if they don't answer after that 2 weeks, what do you do then? You just not follow up again? Eventually you end up with a big list of people that you just are trying to constantly keep following up with, keep checking back in with, and that can get really overwhelming. So our systems help with that. They can automate that process. When somebody calls, if it's a missed call, then we automatically have a system that's going to text them back and start a conversation.
Yeah.
That's without even really getting into the subject of AI much, just the simple text back by itself is enough to at least show that you are attentive and are there to help with whatever they're looking for. You add
Right.
AI into the mix and you can have a whole conversation with that person without you even picking up your phone.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. It's so important. Years ago, I mean, not that long ago, really, I would just, I mean, sometimes I'd be driving in my truck, get a phone call, put the number and the name on a receipt, any sort of scrap paper, a piece of cardboard, a receipt. And
Yeah.
sometimes I would keep an actual, book or, booklet to write it
Mhm.
on, but sometimes that would be in the office, and I'd forget it in the office or whatever. And, like you said, you forget to call people back. You forget, well, who called me? When was that again? And who was that person? So just having that dedicated line. And one thing I love about your system is it records the phone call. It tells them when they answer, oh, this is going to be on a recorded line for training purposes or whatever. And I can go back. I can have that conversation. Now I can drive hands free in my truck. I don't have to be, writing on a piece of paper. I can ask them all the information I need. I don't even have to write it down. I go home, get on my computer. I get it. I receive a full transcript of the conversation, address, phone number. What was it we talked about again? Oh yeah, what did they want? What size was the tile they're thinking about? All these details, and then I can on the computer and punch in, in the details. But I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. So I really appreciate that, Andy.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely just another added benefit there. It's the call recording. So you don't have to worry about trying to write down an email while you're going down the road.
Right.
That's
Right.
never good.
Very important. I mean, there are some of these little things that we could just not be doing anymore. All this silly stuff with a pen and paper, and where did I put that number? Who did I talk to? Now it can be automated, it can be recorded. It's such a huge benefit. It's such a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Um, and then once you have the lead, even via your system, Andy, in your experience, where are we dropping the ball as contractors? Where are we messing up with handling these leads? I mean, just lay it on me, man.
Yeah, yeah, sure, man. And honestly, it's common challenges that lots of businesses face, that every business owner really faces. It's the speed to be able to get back to a lead and the ability to have that next step process laid out very clearly for that lead. So if that person is looking for an estimate, we need to make it as easy as possible for them to get an estimate and for them to know exactly what to expect. So for most contractors, you're going to want to talk to the person and get the details of that project. So we try to gather those details ahead of time as much as we can, gather the project description, their timeline for when they want to get started, and their average budget. They have one in mind, just the key details of that project. So then we can pre-qualify those leads as much as we can, so that when you get on the phone with somebody, you already have that information and you're ready to just efficiently talk with them and get them moved to that next step, booking an in-home quote, going out there and actually looking at the potential project. But
Yeah.
speed to lead is the number one thing.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, so just response time sometimes we is slower. I've heard even it was a discussion in the Tile Money Facebook recently, and it was kind of an interesting take on it. The poster was mentioning how response to like once you're in the home, the most contractors work like they go out to the home after maybe a phone conversation. They take measurements, they have the 30-60 minute conversation with the homeowner or whatever, and then they go home and write up the estimate. Most I find are not doing it on the spot, which I think is a mistake. I think having a system like your system, the systems we built, that you can actually present the the actual price within maybe 15 minutes for the average job, average size, even a bathroom remodel, you should be able to get that written up in 15-20 minutes. A lot of this is pre-written content, so you're just kind of punching in some numbers, tweaking it a little bit, and then presenting it to them. That's the way I like to sell. If I'm operating at 100, which I'm not always, I don't always operate at perfect, but if I'm doing my job, my sales job, if I'm wearing my sales job, my hat correctly, I'm in that home. After my presentation, I sit down on their desk with a computer, laptop, iPad, whatever method you can do, um, and I've done this successfully, and I have a price. They can sign it e-signature, and they can give me a deposit, check, or credit card. But the interesting thing that he mentioned in this post in Tile Money was, well, sometimes life gets busy, and 2 or 3 days go by, maybe even a week goes by, and then I get them the estimate. And his reasoning, his rationale, he thought that maybe it was helping his closing rate, because it's like almost like if you remember in high school, or like when you're dating a girl, like if you're too desperate, it almost works opposite. So this was his reasoning, and
Mhm.
I think it's faulty reasoning. I think it's a little bit faulty. In all my sales training that I've taken and real life experience, I mean, I sold. All I did was sell for over a year, and we were trained to do what I just said: sell in the house. You have an hour to 90 minute consult, and your goal is to collect that deposit check on the way out. So I think it's really interesting, the different misconceptions or the things we tell ourselves, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in a society that has trained us to look for instant gratification, which we gotta just be honest with ourselves. That's how the society around here is kind of been pushing towards, is people look for that quick answer, the quick gratification. They can just Google something or just look it up and call somebody and get an answer. Playing hard to get is not a winning sales strategy. They're not looking for somebody who is going to tease them and say, yeah, I'll get you an estimate, and then wait a week. They want their answer. They want to know what it's going to cost. The quicker you can get that to them, the quicker they can start working on making a decision whether that's going to work for them or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely speed is very important with that.
It could be localized, different places might have different results. But down here in Florida, oh man, there's hundreds of contractors, and I mean, it's a very competitive space, and
Yep.
people seem to want, I mean, they want to know. I mean, I try to give somebody a ballpark price over the phone, oh, it's going to
hmm
be about, I mean, I put my ballpark prices on my website, I mean,
That's
there's
a
no
whole other
secret.
valid point with that,
Yeah.
because if you are able to give them an idea over the phone, then you're price setting something for them,
Hmm.
giving them a range that, it's probably going to be somewhere between this and this. And then if they are way out of the ballpark, if they're thinking something way lower, then you don't even want to spend the time going out there in some cases. Like you need, that's part of qualifying them, knowing
Yeah.
that they actually are going to be in the same ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've said it for years on this podcast. I mean, what's the big secret about pricing? I mean, how many backsplashes do you have to know before you could say, like, okay, we start at this price. It could go up. Like, I mean, I don't know what you want until we have a conversation. But our average backsplash is $2,500. Our average shower is $6,500, $7,500. I mean, what's the big secret? I mean, how many showers do you have to install and sell before you know what the average price is going to be? I mean, there are going to be a low side and a high side, obviously, but the average is the average. So I don't understand the big secret. I think contractors are doing the world a disservice by not talking about prices publicly, and I see it all the time in like local Facebook groups and stuff. We've gotten a little bit off subject. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all right. I think the general consumers would agree heavily
Yeah.
with that they want more transparency in that. And the more transparent you can be, the more you can set their expectations ahead of time, saves you time and saves them time.
Hmm.
It's appreciated all around.
A lot of it too is I think if guys don't have a lot of leads, they're gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna like really treasure, really try to hold on to that one or two leads a week. Some guys might have, three or four a month, maybe that's a lot for some, when you're starting your business. So you're more afraid. And hey, I've been there, right? Like I just
Yeah.
started a business last year. Like I was going out to every lead because they were very precious. Now, with your systems and with my website and the SEO and everything that's going on, like I'll get one or two or three a day. I don't have time to be running around to everybody's house. Like let's talk on the phone, let's have a
Yep.
20 minute conversation, figure out if we're a good fit. Um, one of the things I mentioned was scaling your business. I mean, I think most people listening to this podcast want to scale beyond where they're at. So, what do you see in those of us that you've worked with? What's the difference between somebody doing maybe 10, 20,000 a month and just kind of stuck there to somebody doing, maybe 50,000 or more a month?
The number one difference is going to be those systems that they have, the processes to where they're not burning themselves out. Because that's what systems really do. They allow you to take some of the strain and stress off your shoulders by knowing that something is going to get done in an organized and specific way. Because the system is the system. You know how it works, and it just keeps on, turns your business into a machine. Essentially, that's what a business is. It's a value creating machine, right?
Hmm.
So uh, having the right systems in place, that's what makes all the difference. Being able to scale up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
I also want to mention you mentioned something about how being able to give an invoice in person
Hmm.
is a really big added benefit. And I think that's where we got off topic before. But that is something that the systems are designed to really help you with, increasing your efficiency around those things that could take days and days to do, like an invoice or
Hmm.
an estimate.
Hmm.
Putting those estimates together, if you are writing out every detail on every single estimate and spending hours on each one, then you're going to find yourself every evening behind a desk, just working late into the evening, trying to get these things done.
Mhm.
Sometimes days behind, weeks behind. That's where the right systems really help save you a lot of headaches. So our invoicing system, for example, we can pre-program all of the different service offers and products into this system. So instead of writing out all the details of a shower remodel, you already have your shower remodel in place. If it's a floor or something, if you want to charge by the foot, then we can have your price in there, and you just enter in the amount of feet that you need on that. So it's pre-calculated and designed to make that so much more efficient. Take it down from a few hours to 15 minutes
Yeah. Yeah.
with the right templates and stuff in place.
Yes, and it's totally editable too. Like on the spot, let's say I had pre-programmed $10 a square foot, and the job is smaller, and I'm like, I want to go 15. I can just edit that in. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's already pre-programmed for a square foot price, and I just choose that. And then I'm like, well, I'm just going to go a bulk price. I can just take that square foot price out and put a bulk price in. And I can do it all with just a few clicks of the iPad or a computer very easily. So I just want to mention that too, because a lot of people might think like here square foot price and be like, oh, I don't want to be locked into a square foot price, but you're not
Right.
locked into anything.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
change everything on the spot, and the real time savers having those pre-designed descriptions and
Hmm.
products already in there.
Bingo. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mentioned, and I was talking to my wife even like last night or the other day, and I was like, I'm getting an average of like 2 calls a day now, which is really, it's very comforting, you know. And like I say, a lot of these people aren't my ideal client, but maybe I could be doing something. You know, I'm always looking for ways I can improve, right? Like, how can I sell more jobs or you know, keep more of these leads? You know, should I be doing something like what are best practices for me? Could you say that I should do to close more jobs?
Sure. Sure. So, number one thing is know your pipeline. Know the leads that are in your pipeline and who needs to be paid attention to. Because a lot of times, when making a decision like a bathroom remodel, that's something that people think about over time. It's not a spur of the moment decision. It's something that a lot of people dream about for years, even before they finally pull the trigger. So, keeping those leads into a pipeline and knowing where they're at, that's one thing that really helps. Knowing who you need to be checking back in with, which the system automates a lot of that for you. It allows you to sit back and just look at your pipeline to see at a glance who is at what stage. And by pipeline, I mean we set this up as kind of a sales funnel sort of thing. It's starting from a completely cold lead, somebody who just called in and you don't know anything about, going all the way through to somebody that has booked an in-home quote, and all the way through to a closed client, really. So you get warmer as you go. Somebody that's had a conversation and has been qualified, they're going to be further along that pipeline. So knowing where your leads are in that pipeline, that's really important. Um, but also just doing those daily follow-ups with people. If you pick up the phone and just give somebody a call, that's going to be more effective than any other kind of outreach you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Follow-ups are crucial, guys. Like, I used to be afraid to call people that I spent, you know, maybe an hour in their home with, but really that's my own head trash. The correct thing to do is to follow up with everybody. Don't wait for them. I mean, call them the very next day. If you went out to their home and they didn't close, you didn't close the sale, the best practice is to call them. And I'm talking sales, I'm talking scalability. You know, if you're serious about scaling your business, these are the things you have to do is just follow up. And if they don't, you know, look, let's say we have three ways to get a hold of somebody: a text message, a phone call, an email. the way I was trained was call them first and foremost. That's going to be your most powerful connection, right? Talking over the phone. If they don't answer, maybe try a text message the next day, maybe even later that day, but let's just say the next day, try a text message. If they don't answer on the third day, send an email. On the fourth day, call them. On the fifth day, text message. You follow up with them. I mean, you gave them an hour or more of your time for free. Your advice. I've been in this industry 25 years. I took 25 years of my experience. I sat with them in their home. I gave them crucial information to help them make a buying decision, whether they buy with me or not. That was valuable. Some people charge for their time now. I don't, I'm not there, but some people will charge for that consult. I gave it for free. The least they can do is say, nope, we decided, is give me the respect to say yes or no, we decided. And a lot of, and what helped me overcome this fear, sometimes it would be a month and I'd still be following up with people. Now, typically, not every day. After like a week, I would go to like every other day or every third day, just to kind of give them space. I mean, I don't know their situation. But a lot of times a month would go by and they'd say, I really appreciate your follow up. I'm ready to buy. Or they'd say, well, I appreciate your follow up, but we decided to go another direction. And everybody was respectful. Nobody was like, why are you following up with me? I mean, that's all in our head, guys. If you're listening to this and you're afraid to follow up, it's all in your head. This is your
Hmm.
imagination. You're doing them a service by doing a good job. So
Absolutely. It is a service to follow up. And a lot of people, they get this fear of being seen as too salesy or too pushy or something. But really, everybody is busy with their own lives and they wanted your service. That's why they reached out to you. And unless they have somebody else doing it, they still want a service. They still want that remodel. They still want the new shower.
mm-hmm.
And you following up with them is helping to keep that front of mind for them
Mm-hmm.
for whenever they are ready. First person they're going to remember is the person who's been consistently there, ready to help whenever
Yeah,
they're ready.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the fortune is in the follow up. Is what they say.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but also we automate a lot of that. So a lot of that process you're mentioning of like sending an email, sending a text, we have an automated sequence that's going to send those emails and texts regularly,
Mm-hmm.
going out from the moment somebody enters into the system, when they fill out a lead form or a contact form on your website or give you a call. It's only after you do that in-home quote at that point. Once we get them booked onto a phone call and you've talked with them and you've had those conversations, that's when it becomes a bit more of a manual process because everybody's going to be a little bit different. You need to know that you need to follow up with this person after a month. Now you set that in the system, and the system's going to give you that reminder for you. Or you go ahead and book the phone call, and then it reminds both you and the person that wanted you to call them in a month.
Yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about lead generation. We all need leads. The business needs leads to survive. What would you say to the contractor listening that's like, I just need more leads? I mean, there's so many different, you know, ways to get leads. What's your best practice or best advice?
Sure, sure. So, really, there's only three primary ways to get a lead. There are the referral leads, which are going to be your number one leads you can get anywhere, right? Word of mouth, but it's not consistent, and you can't predict that. Referral leads can be coming from your past clients, or one of the ways that we help is with other contractors. So we can actually help build a list of other contractors in your area and help you to reach out to those. We have pre-designed email campaigns to help you build those connections. So you have referral leads. Then you have the organic leads, which organic leads means being findable. That means people can find you when they're looking online or you're just easy to discover. So that is having a good website, having a Google business profile. So when people are searching online, you show up, and having a social media presence. Because whether we like it or not, social media is now part of a business repertoire. You need to have that presence because people are looking on social media to find out about your business. They want to see that you are an active business that's doing projects in their area. So that's another important part. Just being discoverable and active. And then you have your third kind of leads from paid ads. So you have referrals, organic leads, and paid leads. Now, paid leads are like throwing gasoline on the fire. You can scale that up as much as you want to put into your ads. But it really comes down to just a few key metrics. Primarily, your cost per lead. How much does it cost you to get one person to fill out that advertisement and give you their contact info? So with that, if you get a consistent cost per lead, which once you've been running your ads for a little while, you'll find it tends to be pretty consistent. It's not going to jump around too much. So now that can differ a lot depending on the ads that you're putting out there. With some of the partners we've started working with here, we would start off with their leads before we were working with them, were maybe $100 per lead coming through a Facebook ad. Right now, the average that we're seeing across the board is right around $40 to $50 per lead. So we've gotten that way down for all the people we work with. And then it just comes down to a numbers game. So how many leads do you want? How many leads does it take to get one customer? So if you get 10 leads, then you should get one or two decent deals out of that. But now not every lead's going to close either. That's a whole other thing to consider. These people are showing you that they are interested. They're giving you their contact info saying, hey, yeah, I have been thinking about whatever service you're advertising, a new shower remodel. Send me some information. So then that starts the follow-up process. But it starts with a good ad, getting a lead for a good price. So we're averaging about that $40 per lead, $40 to $50 per lead average. And most of the clients are seeing around 30 leads per month on average.
So you spend about $1,200 to get about like 40 leads a month. Is that what you said?
That's a good point. Yeah, you also need to make sure you're putting enough into the Facebook ads to be able to get those results. And you could also do Google ads. There's Google or Facebook are the two we typically are dealing with. Google ads are going to be a much higher cost per lead, but they're going to be a more qualified, a more
Buyer ready, like
buyer ready. Yeah, because there's somebody searching for that service online. Whereas Facebook leads are you're putting your service in front of somebody who may have been thinking about getting a shower done, which also Facebook knows what you're thinking. As scary as it is, they're pretty good at finding the people that are thinking about actually getting that service.
Yeah.
So,
That's good. Well, that's pretty interesting. So you could definitely scale a business just by putting more money in it. You know, once you figure out what ads working and get that, that's impressive that you were able to get people down from spending $100 to about $40 an average lead. That's really good.
You do need to put a minimum amount into the ads to get those kind of results. So like that 12 to 1500, that's where typically a starting point you'd want to have for your meta ads for any Facebook ads is around 1500 is what we recommend for a minimum.
Okay. Good. Well, that's great. So you've seen people scaling their businesses, multiple contractors, correct? With these systems.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, a lot of people listening to this might have some objections or some fears about, spending that money or, even any of the things we mentioned, systems and processes. Maybe there's some hidden fears about that or, well, I don't know if I want an automated process. What would you say to those contractors who are a little bit overwhelmed by the tech talk that we've been having, or they don't believe they have time to learn another tool?
It's a good question. So that's what having the right team on your team is all about. So we work with all of our clients, not really as just clients, but as a partner. That's how I want to be seen with any of the companies I work with. We want to be your tech and marketing partner.
Mm.
So you're right. The tech side can feel a little overwhelming sometimes. So what we want to do is be there to help get these systems implemented and manage them. Not just get them implemented and say, "Hey, good luck," but actually help manage those processes for you. We take a very active role. Uh, I personally want to see everybody that I work with really succeed. Like that's my whole driving mission behind this. It's not just you know getting rich off some system or something. No, the point of a business is to create value for other people.
Mhm.
So that's what excites me is seeing other businesses grow and succeed. And um, always heard that the best way to succeed yourself is to help other people succeed. So I
Yes.
really like that. That's
Yeah.
my motto.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, I appreciate what you've done for my business, and I know others in your growth suite as well. Continue to report success stories. Excuse me about this frog in my throat here. Um, do you have to be a large company to benefit from this, or what's your ideal size, contractor that you're working with?
Very good question. No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I find that these systems are what help small and medium-sized companies to compete on the level of a larger company. They're helping to even the playing field,
Mhm.
especially the AI portion of things, because the AI is there to help turn leads into booked appointments by giving you that instant response time to all those leads that come in. Uh, a large company might have a call center that they can afford to hire. Most contractors don't. So
Mhm.
this allows you to compete on a much higher level. So it's definitely not just for uh, big companies. Um, Typically, we're working with contractors of a lot of different sizes. Um, Recommend if you're going to be running ads that you're around that 20K per month range in running ads. Um, but there's other places to get started before that too.
Yeah.
And that's why, we want to help you with the other aspects of the systems as well to be able to scale up to that point to where you can start running those ads to really start scaling faster and stuff. So,
Yes, yes. Yeah, not all of your clients. In fact, I'm not running ads at the moment myself. So,
right.
not all of your clients are running ads. There's a lot of value here beyond the ads. And we've talked about the AI a little bit and automated processes and everything. I think it's also very important to note that you have and I've watched you as you've scaled this business, you've hired personnel, real human beings, and you have someone that actually will do follow-up phone calls on our behalf, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. AI is great, but it's only going to get so far for you. It takes a hybrid approach. So that's what we're doing. We have a hybrid approach. We have the AI to answer messages and chats via text. Also, a voice AI that can take incoming calls. But for the outbound follow up, we have a lead conversion specialist on the team, and his whole job is to know the leads that come in for each person, for each
Hmm.
client.
Hmm.
So he knows. I want him to know the pipelines better than anybody.
Hmm.
So that way he can follow up with those leads on your behalf, at least to the point of getting a booked estimate call.
Correct.
Once we get the booked estimate call, then it's on you guys. You got to close the deal. You got to get them moved on to that booked in-home quote uh, and keep it moving from there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a very robust system that Andy's built, Business Up AI, and he's continued to improve it and continue to add value, to the system. If you're interested in scaling your business beyond where you are, and you're already doing 20, 30,000 a month, and you want to get to that half a million a year mark or that $1 million a year mark, I would definitely recommend guys and reach out to Andy. talk to Andy about whether or not this is a good fit for you. It's a free phone call, free, Zoom, hop on a Zoom with him. These systems, like I said in the beginning, this is tailor made for, small, medium sized tile contractor remodeling business owners. Andy, where can people find out more about you if they want to, hop on that call with you, or just look at some of your offerings?
Absolutely. Just go to tilemoney.businessupai.com. That's going to be the best website. That's tilemoney.businessupai.com. And we have a few different options for people. We do have that done for you option where we're really in there working directly with you as a team, and where we're managing the social media side, managing the ads, managing the referral campaigns and the systems. But we wanted to have some options for people who are earlier in their business that are still trying to scale up. So we do have some packages prepared for people just getting started that want to have the systems in place, and more of a done with you kind of approach. So we have both. We have the systems themselves if you want to just get started with that. Um, it allows for the automated follow-up, a place where you can keep all of your leads in one place without having to manage the scrap of cardboard you wrote down a lead on last week.
Right.
And also has an automated review system to help you get more reviews coming into your business, and the invoicing system all built in to one central business hub is what we built. So it's really quite intuitive. So if you want to get started with just the business hub itself, then we do have that option as well. And I want something that's going to help businesses of all sizes grow. It's my ultimate goal. So,
Nice. I love it, man. So that was tilemoney.businessup.ai.
no, tilemoney.businessupai.com.
Oh, okay. Business up.
Yeah, I couldn't get the .ai. That
AI.
one it's a harder domain to get. So,
All right, all right. I was just gonna put it on the screen here for people. Is that I got that correct, right?
tilemoney.businessupai.com. That is correct.
All
Yes.
right. And I'll put the link in wherever you're watching or listening to this, guys. So you can just click the link. But thank you, Andy, so much for coming on today. Thank you for all you've done for my tile friends and the world of tile and remodeling.
Well,
Appreciate you,
thank
man.
you for having me. It's been a pleasure, Luke. Really happy to be here.
Absolutely. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Talk soon.
All right. We'll talk to you next week, tile friends.